World Tonight. Good evening, this is Stephen Milligan. First, the news headlines.
President Carter, in a broadcast to the American people, has said he takes responsibility for the abortive mission to free the hostages in Tehran. He ordered it, and he called it off. 8 American servicemen died when 2 aircraft crashed after the operation was cancelled.
And tonight we shall be looking at the consequences of the failure of the American bid to rescue the hostages in Iran. The Foreign Secretary, Lord Carrington, gives Britain's initial reaction. And the former Deputy Director of the CIA analyzes just why the mission went wrong. The Syrian ambassador in London explains why the failure of the mission may damage America's standing in the Arab world. And a leading German editor analyzes how European leaders are likely to react at the EEC summit in Luxembourg, which starts on Sunday. Now, with the news in detail, Brian Perkins.
The full story is beginning to emerge tonight about the ill-fated attempt by the Americans to mount an airborne mission to Iran to free the embassy hostages. As the United States releases more information about the military operation that went tragically wrong, the reverberations continue around the world. There's been anger from Iran, with Ayatollah Khomeini denouncing President Carter, accusing him of putting the hostages' lives in even greater danger. But there's been praise from Mrs. Thatcher for the president's courage. The circumstances surrounding the abortive action, which left 8 dead and others injured, became clearer this evening at a news conference in Washington given by the American Defense Secretary, Mr. Harold Brown. He said the mission failed because 3 of the 8 helicopters being used in the operation broke down. The details from one of our correspondents in Washington, Paul Reynolds.
The mission failed just where the American planners feared that it would. The helicopters did not stand up to the 500-mile journey from an aircraft carrier in the Arabian Sea to a desert refueling site 200 miles from Tehran itself. 6 helicopters at least were needed to go to the embassy. To guard against some failure, 8 left the carrier. 1 had to put down en route. 1 had to turn back. It's thought they may have run into a sandstorm. Then at the site itself, disaster struck. A 3rd helicopter broke down, and the 90-man assault team was 1 helicopter short. The mission was called off. Mr. Brown himself strongly defended the plan.
The mission was complex and difficult, but it was the judgment of the Joint Chiefs of Staff and myself that it was operationally feasible. This judgment was reached after a thorough assessment, which included many practice exercises. Our plan was carefully conceived, and the training was exhaustive.
There's still a mystery about how the hostages were to have been freed from the embassy. The Defense Department is revealing nothing, but Mr. Brown suggested intriguingly that could have been the least difficult part of the operation.
Only hours after President Carter had called off the rescue operation, he went on television to explain his action to the American people. He said that with the growing realization that the hostages' early release was highly unlikely, he had ordered the mission to go ahead. The president emphasized that plans for such an operation were mounted shortly after the embassy was seized, but he had waited until now to put it into effect. And he went on,
I ordered this rescue mission prepared in order to safeguard American lives, to protect America's national interests, and to reduce the tensions in the world that have been caused among many nations as this crisis has continued. It was my decision to attempt the rescue operation. It was my decision to cancel it when problems developed in the placement of our rescue team for a future rescue operation. The responsibility is fully my own.